Hello, buddy. Hassan here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about Tesla's Dojo and genomics, biotech, healthcare, how these two worlds can merge between each others. I want to talk about this interesting topic here. Before we do that, guys, before we talk about this topic, do like this video, smash that like button, destroy that like button. It's free, it's quick, it's easy, and really helps this channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell for our videos to get to you faster. So, about 2 weeks ago, Tesla held their AI day. We actually made a video on the Tesla bot, our thoughts, and so on in this channel. And Tesla also announced their supercomputer, right? For what would they call it, Dojo, right? And this is the world's most powerful AI training machine. At least that's what Tesla claims it to be. And it is expected to come in production in operational by next year. That's what Elon Musk said in the AI days. We'll stick with that date for now. But it looks like in 2022 we'll have Dojo operational. So what is Dojo, right? What is an AI training machine, right? What is an artificial intelligence training machine, right? It's more than just a supercomputer. Okay, when we talk about computer, obviously if you guys are watching this video through your mobile phone or through your desktop, you already know what a computer could be, could do. And when we talk about supercomputers, I'm sure you've seen all this in the news and so on. When we talk about speed, when you talk about all the fast transaction times between your inputs and outputs, right? This is all in your computer. That's what we call a supercomputer. But when we talk about AI training machine, right? What does it actually mean, right? AI training machine, guys, it's the ability to have a system that's able to take in your big data input and sort of give you an output that's sort of tailored into your needs, right? So for example, Tesla for their vehicles, they want to achieve full self-driving car, right? Well, what does that mean? That means that the user can allow their vehicle, their product, to basically drive them from point A to point D without them really being involved in that steering wheel or in any point after that original input to that destination from point A to point B. But you need a whole software segment to really make that happen, right? And software, you cannot have legacy type of software, and it's crazy that we call it legacy today, but it is what it is, right? You need some sort of artificial intelligent software in the background running to sort of detect what's going on in the real world, in the physical world, right? And this is really important, right? This is where you see this Dojo supercomputer aspect into it, because you have all these D1 chips that they call basically the Dojo processing units on in the dojo facility, training facility, and that's able to capture all this data coming from their vehicles and then basically give them directional outputs, right? So what do they want to do on the roads? What do they want to do with their vehicles? They're able, this computer, without human interference, you're able to have this synergy relationship between the actual vehicle on the road and the whole supercomputer running in the background, the whole software running, right? And then you have this synergy that happens, and then the vehicle can basically operate on its own because it's able to detect objects on the road, humans on the road, bicycles. There's so many edge cases, right? I mean, all of us, maybe most of us here, drive on a daily basis, and you take it for granted, but ultimately there are so many unique cases, right? I was driving the other day, yesterday, and there was like this piece of sandal on the middle of the road, right? And obviously when I drove it, I just like saw the sandal, I just gave it a little bit a right turn, just a little bit, just to miss that sandal. I didn't want to drive over the sandal, right? It was literally on the middle of the road. But a computer doesn't necessarily understand originally that this is a sandal, right? It needs to detect it's a sandal. It needs, just like what we do as humans, right? We do it, right? It's just, it happens in milli, if not nanoseconds, right? And the same thing happens with these Dojo supercomputer, this AI training machine, right? It'll detect something through its vision based cameras, and then be able to identify that object and then make a decision based on the identification, based on the new data that just basically were processed, right? And my point here is that Dojo is more than just a supercomputer, right? This is, we talked about this D1 chip. It's breaking records. It's something that has never been done in the world. A lot of people refer to Nvidia, and I think what Nvidia is doing in this space is amazing for video games, for specific companies, including healthcare companies, our computers, our smartphone. That everything they're doing is amazing. But for Tesla to achieve what they want to do, right, with full self-driving cars, what they want to do, they have to make their own chips. They have to basically build their own vertical, and this is what we support in this channel. This is like the Apple model where you build your own vertical, right? You don't just depend on other companies for other significant parts, right, that makes the whole thing run. You make everything in-house. Sometimes this doesn't make sense in terms of capital costs, in terms of time, in terms of what you're trying to achieve. But in Tesla case, obviously they have the capital. Actually, a great question from Elon Musk in the Q&A in the AI day was, would you open source? Would you open source the whole code behind Tesla bot, for example? And he basically said it's just flat out. He said, it just wouldn't make sense because the capital that you would need is so vast that only a few players, if a few players, can even get into this space, right? So you would be open sourcing for those few players. But I think then there was Dave Lee that mentioned in his video that we'll cover really quickly. He said, I think Elon misunderstood that question, and maybe, it's not about open sourcing the whole project, but maybe portions of that project, because ultimately companies use open source projects for their own software, for their own work, right? This is how the internet was able to advance the way it is today, right? Several, like Twitter with Bootstrap, right? Many companies, many websites use Bootstrap today. So, food for thought, right? Anyways, I'm going on a tangent here, but all to say that Tesla's working on this D1 chip. They're working on their Dojo factory, any AI training facility that's expected to come online by next year, which is what the last date was mentioned to us in the AI day. And this here is really interesting. Like I said, look at the comparison, right? Dojo D1 chip with the traditional GPUs or even TPU. You can see, guys, we are looking at multiple magnitudes. It's just an amazing feature here. Again, if you want to know more about Dojo, the high performance training node, all specific information about the Dojo, the chip, the whole CPU comparison, the whole explanation of the architecture, especially I know a lot of you guys are engineers, you would love this channel here from Dr. Noedell. I mentioned him in this channel multiple times. He went over this video. I was watching that video I think it was like on a weekday night, and I was blown away by how he was able to decode everything that happened when it came to Dojo. He made quite a few videos series, not just about Dojo, but about the AI day. So I highly recommend you guys to watch his channel. He's amazing. He has supported our channel in the past, so let's give him some love back. Like his videos, subscribe. So thank you very much, Dr. Know It All, for your support, and keep up with this information. I really appreciate what he's doing here. Again, if you want to have layman terms, really understand, and even go a little bit more intermediate/advanced understanding as to what's going on with the dojo, with AI training day, with everything that happened with Tesla, go watch his videos in his few video series or any of his videos about Tesla and so on. Another video, really quickly, I wanted to mention, guys. This was an interview between Dave Lee and some of the ARK Invest guys, Summerlin, and I think it's Frank Downing, yeah. And Summerlin, really, he's been in his channel. Dave Lee, actually, I think we made a video covering his first interview between Dave Lee and Summerlin, and they went over the AI day. Summerlin is just mind blown, and the whole team at ARK Invest were mind blown. I think this is amazing what Tesla was able to announce. Again, announcing things is one thing, but you need to execute on it. And I truly believe if there's any company that can do it, it is Tesla. I think, I really think, besides Dojo, I think their FSD progress, the whole announcement with Tesla bot, sort of put things in perspective. I think a lot of legacy media sort of started catching on that Tesla is more than just an auto manufacturer, although it took them many years. So it is what it is, right? And then I want to really, really briefly talk about this interview here. This it was like a AI day roundtable. This was in Gali. We've talked about Gali in this channel. Big Tesla bull. He brought some of the James Wang, Naveen, and Dylan Patel. These are individuals there that are really, really well known in the AI space. And there's this guy Naveen Rao. This guy just like destroyed. I mean, I don't think his goal was to destroy Tesla. I don't think his goal was to put down Tesla, but it really felt that everything he was saying was basically putting Tesla's AI day down. Right? It was basically saying, "Hey, this is nothing special. Other companies have been doing this for years." He just like brushed off everything and anything that Tesla said in that AI day. I mean, I think this is what I find really interesting sometimes is you have these people that have so many years of experience in the space, and maybe because it's the wear and tear and the rust that and the pessimism, the working with different companies, and you sort of have this expectation at that point that any company that announces these bullish outlooks, your first reaction is usually to put them down or sort of put a barrier up. But ultimately, they do have a lot more experience than someone like I do. So, what Naveen was saying in that interview, I think there's food for thought for that. I think there's some interesting ideas. Let me know what you guys think. I know some of you watch these videos from Dave Lee, from Gali, from other YouTubers. Let me know what you guys thought. I actually just felt like he had like a personal agenda, that Naveen person, and that whatever he was saying was just like putting Tesla down. I think at some point he said like Google hires the best engineers in the world, and I couldn't disagree more. I think this was the case maybe in the early 2010s, but since then we've seen a whole shift to actually Tesla and SpaceX hires the best engineers in the world, and then you have the Palantirs of the world, right? So I found that really, really interesting that he made that comment. But it is what it is. You got to hear the bull and bear cases as an investor. You got to be aware of what's going on. And then actually transitioning to Palantir, this is what I want to really be this video and really end this video with, right? Tesla AI Day, Dojo, Tesla Bot even. How does it interact with our current healthcare system? How does it interact with our biotech, with genomics, with genome editing? Right. So we know Palantir is involved with genomics, right? We know they've sort of developed their Foundry application to really work in the healthcare industry. In fact, it's so involved that ARK Invest for the ARKG fund, they added, like I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, Palantir in the fund for the first time ever in ARK Genomics fund, right? So Palantir is officially now a genomics company as per ARK Invest. We actually made a whole video on this. Watch it if you're curious. But my point here is that what if Tesla gets added in this ARK Genomics fund? Right? And now at first you're like, well, they're already added in ARKK fund. They're already added in the ARKX fund. They're already added in the other funds. Why would they be added in genomics fund? Well, with Dojo, I could see the use case, right? We talked about how Dr. Sam, the CEO of CRISPR Therapeutics, talked about how big data and artificial intelligence could advance the progress of genomics, of genome editing, from CRISPR technology, all sorts of companies in the biotech space further in the upcoming years, right? And Tesla Dojo's product does exactly that, right? It's an AI training facility. You input that big data in, and then you get this output that you can sort of predict the future, right? And what if you can reduce the test trials, reduce the lab trials, reduce the cost, reduce the delays through this type of product, this type of intermedium? And this is what Palantir sort of promises to their customers, right? And I truly believe Palantir is able to do that. They've had great case studies with some of these customers in the genomics world, in the healthcare industry. I think there's this channel smart, I think it's pounding the tables. I forgot their channel YouTube name, but they are really bullish about Palantir, specifically about Palantir's involvement in the healthcare industry. And what if Tesla is able to do that, right? They hit certain verticals, right? Manufacturing, obviously, they'll hit it. They're in it as they begin with. What if they also hit the healthcare industry, right? With the Dojo AI training facility by next year, right? Able to capture some of these customers, right? And then get these customers pay a recurring revenue to Tesla. to sort of use their AI training facility set, and then you input that data regardless of the format, right? CSV, JSON, whatever. And what really happens? I really think there's something interesting here. I really, really think there's something that we're able to sort of see, right? And I do want to mention though that I was actually one of the only guys at the time. I would believe I was one of the only guys at the time that sort of saw Tesla entering the Bitcoin space, Tesla entering the cryptocurrency space like years ago, right? Because I just saw it fit with the energy story, with everything that Tesla is about, the culture, and how cryptocurrencies are the future, and how Elon is like this this rebel, right? He doesn't want to live in these this legacy world where you have these legacy institutions controlling your finances, the interaction, the transactions, and even made a mention of how Eurobanks takes money away from you for even having money in your bank, because there's interest rate and was ridiculous concepts like that. And me, I'm looking healthcare, I'm looking Elon Musk. I know Elon Musk brothers involved in that plant business. I think they're involved in that biotech business in the plant side, vegetation side of things. What if Elon Musk sees this space, the healthcare, and I know when the pandemic hit, he was quite involved with it. What if he hits Dojo and promotes Dojo in the healthcare industry? I think it's fully possible. I think it's very possible. And the first people that will capture this, to my knowledge, will be the ARK Invest. I think Tesla will be added in the ARK Genomics fund as Dojo comes online, as Dojo is being promoted across the month, the following months. I think they will see a narrative there for their shareholders. They being ARK Invest will be able to connect Tesla with genomics companies the same way they were able to connect Palantir with genomics company. Very interesting. I know it's a far-fetched idea, but not really that much. I think there's an angle here that we can make it happen. And again, for me, any company that gets involved with healthcare, with genomics, genome editing, I think it's amazing. The biotech space is growing, and you have all these partnerships coming in. You see Tim Cook personally invested in two companies, and one of the Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, one of those companies being Mammoth Biosciences, which is a CRISPR company, private company. So I think you'll see all that happening in the upcoming years. Dojo is, a beast of its own. I think it will tackle many, many verticals, many customers. But I think one vertical that I think will blow people's minds away is healthcare. Scientists will drool over this. You have less lab trials to make. You have more expected results. What happens when you do these types of sequence? Do you really have to physically do that, spend days and days on it, or can you just depend on a facility like Dojo, an AI training facility, to sort of do that work for you? Increase productivity, increase efficiency, and ultimately increase the quality of your output, your outcome. We'll see what happens. Food for thought. It was just a Sunday rambling day here. I wanted to cover some of those topics here: Tesla, Dojo, and genomics, healthcare. Make some squeeze Palantir into that, because Palantir has the playbook for it, right? If Palantir can do it, why Tesla cannot do it, right? We'll see what happens. We'll leave this video like this, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, do like this video, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And let me know what you guys think about this idea in the comments below. Really curious to see. Thanks so much for watching again, and we will see each other on Monday on this beautiful upcoming week. Thanks for watching.